So I was first introduced to balance work when I was 5 years old, and I was taking ballet class my father put me in, and they teach a lot of different things of flexibility and balance that are so important in being able to perform in sports. The next year I took figure skating. By the time I was 7, I played my first year of competitive hockey, and it was like cheating. One of the mistakes we make in sports is that we throw our kids into sports. We don't teach them how to use their body first. They just are asked to figure it out and accomplish the task that the sport demands. These devices are called balance discs. They're specifically designed to challenge the athlete in different positions to maintain his balance with an unstable surface. And that's why they're built this way. So go ahead and you're going to stand with both feet on there. The first position they're going to try to mimic is he's going to bend down into what we call a basic power position, and that's with the knees being able to bend forward and the pelvis bending back. Spread your feet out a little more with those. There you go. That's it. And they'll squat up and down anywhere 5 to 10 times just to come on up. Don't stay down there. Just up and down. There we go. So once they're able to maintain their posture within this position, obviously there's huge advantages when they're competing in sports. Now what you're going to do is squat down and you're going to rotate from side to side. The best athlete is, again, the one that's able to control their body in different ranges of motion, planes of movement, and in directions. Now turn and come up and down and up and down. Yep. Good. Now you're going to go and squat onto one leg. Now the other thing in sports that we'll use this for is rehabilitation. So once an athlete is injured, there's often many problems in the functional capacity in the leg. And by challenging it with different tools of balance, you get the body's nervous system to waken up and tell the muscles to work. Then you're going to rotate it with just one single foot. And by learning to be able to really stabilize the foot properly and understand what its role is in the sport you're playing, you're really able to reduce the number of injuries that you'll ever face. Because so many of these things happen because athletes will improperly plant their heel into the ground during movement, and it doesn't allow for any give or change of direction properly without torque between the tibia and the femur. So now I want you to do a figure 8. Don't bend too much. Come up a little higher. That's it. So you'll be surprised how simple he makes this look and yet how challenging it actually is. We'll have very high-level pro athletes that struggle with this, and often the tasks of being able to control your body in this type of a movement pattern is much harder than it actually looks. Thank you. So one of the other movement patterns that we can simulate that directly relates to baseball, obviously, is learning to understand how the body rotates properly and where it comes from. So once he's established a basic power position now, he can actually rotate his axis point without moving his head and his groin forward. So now you're going to move from down to up, and you're basically unwinding like a corkscrew. And you'll notice that the shoulders open up and the leg follows. You have to be very careful about turning the legs first and not letting the opposite side open. The front side opens just because of the energy that is produced from the backside foot, not because you're just turning that foot. Do it again. Yep, much better. And then you can really see the importance of how a body produces torque in a rotational movement without losing its center axis point. Good job, model.
네.